Have you ever felt like to achieve something truly massive in your life, you need to take massive action? Whether it's losing weight, building a business, or finally writing that book, we constantly put this huge amount of pressure on ourselves to make these earth-shattering improvements. But what if that conventional wisdom is just entirely backwards? What if massive success actually doesn't require massive action at all? Welcome to our explainer covering James Clear's absolutely game-changing book, Atomic Habits. I am so pumped to be guiding you through this material. In this specific explainer, we're going to get a complete, high-level overview of the core concepts that make this behavior change framework so incredibly powerful. Think of this as your foundational roadmap before we dive deep and break down the specific chapters in our upcoming explainers. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications to stay updated with the upcoming chapters. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is the transformational roadmap we'll be covering. First, the core philosophy. Next, paradigm shift, systems versus goals. Then, the framework, the habit loop. And finally, the toolkit, the 4 laws of behavior change. Part 1, the core philosophy. Why tiny changes make a big difference. The fundamental premise of Atomic Habits is surprisingly simple. Tiny, seemingly insignificant changes compound into remarkable results over time. We often dismiss small changes because, frankly, they don't seem to matter much in the moment. Going to the gym for 3 days isn't going to magically make you fit, right? But over time, those small choices literally determine the difference between who you are and who you could be. And this brilliantly illustrates a concept using the story of Dave Brailsford and British cycling. For over 100 years, British riders had achieved almost nothing of note. But when Brailsford took over, he committed to a crazy strategy called the aggregation of marginal gains. They basically broke down everything that goes into riding a bike and improved it by just 1%. They redesigned the bike seats, they rubbed alcohol on the tires for better grip, they even hired a surgeon to teach riders the absolute best way to wash their hands so they wouldn't catch a cold. As these tiny improvements accumulated, the team went on to absolutely dominate the Olympic Games and the Tour de France. To put that into perspective, the mathematical beauty of this concept is just staggering. If you can manage to get just 1% better every single day for 1 year, you don't just become slightly better, you end up nearly 38 times better by the time you're done. And the scary part? Conversely, if you get 1% worse each day for a year, you decline almost all the way down to 0. Part 2, paradigm shift, systems versus goals. So if small changes are the secret, why do we struggle so much to actually implement them? Well, it requires a total paradigm shift, looking at goals versus systems. As outlined in the source, goals are all about the results you want to achieve, whereas systems are the actual processes that lead to those results. Think about it, if you're a basketball coach, your goal is to win a championship, but your system is how you recruit players and conduct practice. What's absolutely fascinating here is that winners and losers actually have the exact same goals. Every single Olympian wants the gold medal, right? Therefore, the goal cannot possibly be what differentiates the winners from the losers. It's the system they execute every day. I really want to emphasize this profound quote directly from James Clear. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Achieving a goal only changes your life for a single moment. It's like treating a symptom without addressing the underlying cause. But fixing the system, the daily inputs, means the outputs will organically fix themselves. Bottom line, if you want better results, forget about setting goals and start building a better system. We can actually take this concept even deeper. Many of us begin the process of change by focusing on outcome-based habits. We focus entirely on what we want to get. But the deepest, most resilient layer of behavior change is building identity-based habits. Here, the focus shifts entirely away from results and onto who you wish to become. So, the crucial point is this: your identity emerges out of your habits. Every single action you take is literally a vote for the type of person you wish to become. If you sit down and read 1 page of a book, you're casting a vote that you're a reader. If you go to the gym, you're voting that you're an athlete. You don't have to be perfect. You just need the majority of your daily votes to align with your desired identity. You are continually undergoing these micro-evolutions of the self. Part 3, the framework, the habit loop. Okay, we know we need better systems, and we know we need to change our underlying identity. But if we want to get practical here, we have to answer this fundamental question. How do we actually change our behavior on a second-by-second, daily basis? Biologically speaking, any habit can be broken down into a simple 4-step feedback loop. Step 1 is the cue, a trigger in your environment. That cue creates step 2, a craving, which is just the desire to change your internal state. That craving then leads to step 3, the response, which is the actual habit you perform. And finally, that response delivers step 4, the reward. The ultimate purpose of this entire loop is simply to solve the problems of life with as little energy and effort as possible. Part 4, the Toolkit, the 4 laws of behavior change. All right, here is your ultimate set of levers for modifying human behavior. To build a good habit, you follow the 4 laws. Take the cue and make it obvious. Take the craving and make it attractive. Take the response and make it easy. And take the reward and make it satisfying. And if you want to break a bad habit, you just completely invert the process. Make the cue invisible. Make the craving unattractive. Make the response difficult. And make the reward unsatisfying. When these levers are in the right position, creating good habits is virtually effortless. But when they're in the wrong positions, it is nearly impossible. To really anchor this, let's look at some specific, practical examples from the source on how to apply these laws in your daily routine. To make it easy, you basically want to reduce the friction between you and your good habits. You can prime your environment for success, like simply setting out your gym clothes the night before. You can also use the 2-minute rule to downscale your habits. Don't commit to reading a whole chapter, just commit to reading for 2 minutes. And to make it satisfying, you can use a habit tracker to measure your progress and actually see your success streak building up visually. All of this brings us right back to the weighty, foundational truth of this explainer. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. They are the atomic building blocks of our lives. Individually, a 1% change might seem small, and it's so easy to dismiss on any given Wednesday. But together, they form a massive, unrelenting system of compound growth that entirely reshapes who you are. So as we wrap up this comprehensive overview, I want to leave you with one final, provocative question to apply directly to your own life right now. What is the 1% improvement you will make today? Remember, all big things come from small beginnings. Stay tuned for the next video where we will begin with Chapter 1 of Atomic Habits.